Right now, over 700 million people on Earth have no reliable electricity. Not because the sun doesn't shine where they live, it does more than almost anywhere. Not because the technology doesn't exist, it does, and it's never been cheaper. So what's stopping them? One country is producing so many solar panels they literally can't sell them fast enough. Panels that cost just 9 cents per watt. This is China's solar surplus, and it's quietly reshaping how the world gets its power. Rich world, poor world, doesn't matter. The revolution is the same. 700 million people, no reliable grid. Pakistan, Ethiopia, Nigeria. Countries with fast-growing economies being strangled by energy poverty. Businesses running generators 8 hours a day. Farmers who can't pump water because the power cuts hit at the wrong moment. Children doing homework by candlelight. Now, before you think this is just a developing world problem, let's talk about where you might live. And here's the thing, about 70% of Americans can't access rooftop solar. They rent. They live in apartments. They can't afford the upfront cost. Sound familiar? That's the same trap, just with better furniture. Energy anxiety isn't just a poor country problem anymore. It's a Berlin apartment and a Houston renter, and anyone who opens their electricity bill and feels completely helpless. And the solution that's working on both ends of the spectrum? It's the same thing. To put that in perspective, if China decided to stop exporting solar panels tomorrow, the entire global clean energy transition would stall. That's not an exaggeration. That's how concentrated this supply chain is. 63% in 3 years. For context, that kind of price collapse is what happened to smartphones in the 2000s, and that changed everything about how the world communicates. This is the same thing happening right now in energy. 226 gigawatts in 10 months. That's more than enough to power entire countries. And they're doing it while simultaneously installing a record amount domestically. At 9 cents per watt, solar panels have crossed a threshold. They are not a rich country luxury anymore, they're an IKEA price point. And I mean that literally. In Germany, IKEA is actually selling them. Pakistan didn't wait for government policy. Citizens started bulk ordering panels direct from Chinese manufacturers. No subsidy program, no national plan. Entire neighborhoods going off-grid together, purely out of necessity, and because the price finally made sense. It's not just Pakistan. Across Africa, the numbers are moving just as fast. Morocco, South Africa, Nigeria. The continent jumped 43% in panel imports in 2024 alone. And in most cases, it's not governments driving it. It's individuals and businesses who simply got tired of waiting. Some Ethiopian villages never had grid electricity, ever, in their entire existence. And they're not waiting for power lines that might come in 30 years. They went from kerosene lamps straight to solar microgrids. No infrastructure investment. No decades of national grid build-out. Just panels, batteries, and sunlight. This is what it actually looks like when a technology becomes cheap enough to be transformative, not a government program, not a foreign aid project. Just a price point that changes the math for a village elder deciding how to power his community. Balkenkraftwerk. That's the German word for it. Balcony power plant. And Germany has gone absolutely wild for them. One Berlin resident paid just €80 after a city subsidy for an 800-watt unit. On a sunny day, she generates enough to cover up to half her family's daily energy needs. Another resident described it as, "I love charging the bike when the sun is shining and knowing it comes directly from the sun." It's a small step you can take as a tenant. And here's what makes this genuinely remarkable. The setup is almost insultingly simple. 1 or 2 panels on your balcony railing connected to a microinverter plugged directly into your wall socket. If you can plug in a kettle, you can run a balcony power plant. No electrician, no permit, no landlord permission, since 2024 tenants in Germany can just do it. Colorado just passed one of the most renter-friendly frameworks in the country. Landlords and HOAs are now banned from blocking qualifying plug-in solar systems. New York's Sunny Act would give apartment dwellers the same access to solar that homeowners have had for years. In Germany, you can walk into IKEA, buy a solar kit, take it home, plug it in, and be producing clean energy within the hour. In most of America, that same action is technically still illegal. That is changing fast. Model 1, Belt and Road Solar. China funds large-scale solar farms in developing nations, the infrastructure, the installation, sometimes the training. In return, they get long-term trade agreements, resource access, or geopolitical influence. Pakistan, Kenya, Ethiopia all have Chinese-financed solar projects on this model. Resource barter. Energy-poor but resource-rich countries trade oil, minerals, or agricultural goods directly for panels and grid infrastructure. No Western banking system needed. No IMF conditions attached. For countries under sanctions or just locked out of international finance, this is a game-changer. Model 3, the flood model. And then there's the most powerful model of all, the one nobody planned. Panels so cheap that private citizens, NGOs, and local entrepreneurs install them without any government involvement whatsoever. No deal. No diplomacy. No development loan. Just a price point that makes sense, and a market that moves on its own. Pakistan is running on this model, so is Germany. So is your next-door neighbor if they've got a south-facing balcony? But here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. Is China solving the world's energy crisis, or is it building the world's biggest energy dependency? When your balcony panel, your village microgrid, and your national grid all run on Chinese hardware, Chinese inverters, and Chinese batteries, who really controls the switch? A German or American renter spends $200 to $400 on a balcony kit, cuts their bill by 30 to 50%, pays it back in 1 to 2 years. After that, free electricity from the sun for the next 25 years. A Pakistani family spends $400 to go fully off-grid. They were already paying $50 a month just on generator fuel. That kit pays for itself in under a year. Under 1 year. An Ethiopian village spends around $60,000 on a microgrid. That sounds like a lot, until you realize it's providing electricity to an entire community that has never had it, for the next 3 decades, with zero ongoing fuel cost. The payback periods are now so short that this isn't an environmental argument anymore. It's not about saving the planet. It's not about climate targets, it's just math. Cheap math. Anyone can do it math. Think about what that means. In 1 month, 1 country. More panels than an entire European nation has built in its history. And remember, this is the same country we covered in the EV video, the one that's already reshaping global oil demand. The same playbook, different product. Same outcome. A technology made so cheap and so accessible that the market moves faster than any government policy ever could. There are over 50 countries right now with unreliable grids, growing populations, and more than 300 sunny days a year. China has the panels. The price is right. And increasingly, it's happening anyway. 1 rooftop at a time. 1 balcony at a time, 1 village at a time, with or without government permission. 1 country built an industry so dominant it can simultaneously put solar panels on a Berlin balcony, a Karachi rooftop, and an Ethiopian village, all at a price point that makes financial sense for each of them. Whether that's genius, strategy, or the luckiest industrial accident in modern history, the panels are here. The price is right. And the revolution is happening 1 plug socket at a time. Here's my question for you. Do you have a plug-in solar setup? Are you thinking about one? And do you think China's solar dominance is genuinely good for the world? Or is it dangerous? I want to hear both sides in the comments. And if you missed our video on how China is already killing oil demand with EVs, that's the one to watch next. Same country, same disruption playbook, same global consequences. Links right here.